Welcome to Shaped by Faith with your host, Theresa Rowe. To find out more about Shaped by Faith and Theresa Rowe, please visit shapedbyfaith.com or visit the YouTube channel, Facebook, or Instagram. And now, here is Theresa Rowe.
Welcome to Shaped by Faith, where we shape our bodies and hearts for God's purposes. I have a special guest on Shaped by Faith today. She is a celebrity makeup artist, skincare therapist, and she's former Miss New England, Kelly Francisco. She's helped thousands of women tap into their inner beauty. Her and her husband, Bruce, an author and meditation and life coach, live a happy and healthy life on the Connecticut shoreline and hand package every profit product with love and care. Welcome to Shaped by Faith, Kelly.
Thank you, Theresa. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So you're in Connecticut. Okay. So I've never been there before. Can you tell me something about Connecticut? Because I know nothing about Connecticut.
Okay, we're on the shoreline and it's really beautiful here. As a matter of fact, before the interview, I went for a walk. It's like 70 degrees out. It's absolutely beautiful. So it's kind of like the houses here on the shoreline look like little doll houses. So it's very different here in the Northeast. And, you know, people think that we have harsh winters, but we really don't. You know, we can get a lot of snow, but because we're on the shoreline, we don't get a lot of snow.
Oh, I bet
so it is beautiful here.
Yes. Well, I'm in Kentucky. We live on a farm in Kentucky. You never know about the weather. It could be 70 one day. It could be 30 one day. So
oh, sure. Yeah.
We just take it one day at a time. Well, I would love for you to give our listeners like your background of faith and what you're doing before you develop Prophet Skincare.
Well, I was raised Roman Catholic and I graduated from an all-girl Catholic school. So faith was always pretty much a big cornerstone of my life. But it didn't really become much more apparent until later in my life. I never really read the Bible. I never really did that, but I just knew that I had, you know, my Catholic faith. But just in the last, I would say 10 years, when my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, I started doing a lot more seeking, you know, his word. And I do a daily devotional. And at the end of the devotional, there are Bible verses. And that's what really started me reading the Bible, as I would read little passages. And then I started to read the Bible right from the beginning. And I'm just finishing up with 2nd Chronicles. So it's a kind of a daunting thing to when you say read the Bible, but that's what.
Right. Well, you started off one step at a time, and that's what we should all do.
Yes. Yeah.
I would love to hear your background and like how you got started as a makeup artist.
Well, years ago, I was into modeling and I used to do pageants and I used to do my own makeup. And then I ended up studying with a Hollywood makeup artist, Michael Marin. And people just liked the way I did the makeup, so they would hire me. And at that time, I worked at the Nordstrom Spa doing lectures in makeup artistry. Modeling is not something that I pursued any longer, but the makeup was something that I was really good at. So I would get hired for weddings, and people would have me hire them or hire me to take them out for, you know, beauty consultations, and that's what I would do. But believe it or not, I don't even do makeup anymore. It's not even something that I do now. No, it was something that I did in the past.
Well, makeup it's creative. It's being an artist, and God uses everything, you know, that he gives us for his glory. So let's talk about your husband. So tell us about him and how you met him.
Okay, my husband and I have been married for 30 years, and we met many years ago, and we were friends. We were friends for like 3 years, and that went on for, you know, I mean, just friends for 3 years, and we never even kissed or anything. We would hang out, we would just do things together, and then we started dating, and we dated for 7 years, and then we got married. But my husband, I never had a father growing up. My mom raised 5 children alone, so I'm the youngest of 5. So my husband was a very strong figure for me in a manly way. He had a
Mhm.
very protective concern for me, and but also just a good man. And I was so blessed to have this man being very protective of me and really truly God seeking. And we that was our connection right there, is that we connected that way spiritually. We would talk about things that were real and meaningful and true. And from that, I felt really safe with him, because as a woman, you're always pushing men away. They're always trying to get something from you, but he wasn't like that with him. So it was just a beautiful thing that we got together. I believe God brought him to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
God brings people into our lives for his purposes. He did the same with my husband, Robin. We're going on 29 years.
Wow.
We're a blended family. Like, we have 7 kids and
Wow.
working on 14 grandchildren. So, but
14
I
grandchildren.
know, I know.
Amazing.
I
That's
know.
amazing.
It's a lot of blessings, but when God is in it, and you have a man leading you, not towering over you, but leading you and being a partner, and it's just amazing. It's
It
total
is.
opposite of what the world says we should be doing, but it lines up with God's word.
It
I
sure
would love to hear how and what led you to search out skincare products, especially for aging skin
does.
and those products that don't compromise our health.
Yes. Well, like I said earlier, my mother became a breast cancer victim, and in my family, it's very dominant. My grandmother had it, my aunt, and they all had breast cancer. So when my mother was diagnosed, I was like, oh my gosh, does that mean that I'm going to have that problem too?
Mhm.
So I had to do a lot of research just to help my mother, how she was going to get through chemotherapy. That was my main goal. How am I going to get her through that? And her doctor had said to her, you have to be very careful of the chemicals that you put on your skin while you're undergoing chemotherapy. And that just kind of made it like a bell go off in my head. I'm like,
Sure.
why? Why then? And why not always?
Mhm.
So that's where I just started looking at everything. I went through my cabinets, and someone like me, I was always into beauty products and always buying the latest, greatest new wrinkle cream or what have you, never thinking about what was in it.
Mhm.
And then when I started to explore that, and I realized there are a lot of parabens and chemicals and petroleum and phthalates and all these things that actually create a lot of xenoestrogen exposure in our body. So I just started cleaning everything up, and I had no idea that I would do a skincare line, but I couldn't find anything out there back then when my mother was diagnosed. She was 65 when she was diagnosed. So it's been 20 years.
Wow.
And back then they didn't really have, or nor did they educate people like they are now,
Mhm.
about the chemical exposure, not only in skincare, but in our food, in the air, the water, and all that.
Right. It could be overwhelming I would think, when you first start researching and thinking, okay, what are in my products? Because then you would have to research, what are these chemicals that we should be avoiding?
Yeah.
So how do chemicals, because gosh, you look at all these products and they all have, unless you're using clean products, they all have these chemicals.
Yeah.
So how does that affect our health? I know that the doctor told your mother you're going to have to be careful what you put on your skin. I mean,
Yeah.
he must have known something at that
Right.
point in
Because
time.
Right, because when you go through chemotherapy, you're being bombarded with
Hmm.
poison.
Hmm.
So when you take a shower, when you put on your soap or your body cream or your deodorant, now you have even more chemicals in your body.
Right.
So if that's not in of itself something to make you go, wait a minute, why do I want to poison my body this way? And unfortunately, here in the US, they don't really give any concern about the chemical burden on our body. So that's why I started making my own things at home, and I just started making lotions and oils for my
Right.
mother and I. not thinking that I would do that, but I ended up finding an organic chemist to help me formulate doing an anti-aging skincare.
Kelly, I did want to ask you about being Miss New England. How cool is that?
Well, I have to tell you, I did a lot of pageants growing up,
Uh-huh.
and I was always like never won or, a finalist. And when I won Miss New England, my mom's like, it was my sister's shower, and I couldn't make it because I had the pageant. And she's like, well, honey, you're probably just going to be a finalist. Just go, And sure enough, no one was there, and I won. I was like, yay, but I can't really celebrate with anyone.
Doesn't
But
it
that's a
happen
funny
like
story about
that?
Miss New England.
Oh, that is
Yeah,
so funny.
yeah, it was
That's pretty
funny.
amazing. All
Yeah,
right. Let's talk about, we were talking about chemicals before the break, like chemicals in certain products that we use daily. People don't even think about that. Like
right.
the lotion you put on your body, the soap that we use, the shampoo that we use. What are some chemicals that maybe we should avoid? And where can we find out more information about that?
Okay, I have a comprehensive list in my book. It's a free ebook. You can go to profitskincare.com and you can just download the book. It's free. But I would say one of the big ones are parabens. You want to avoid parabens because they are cancer-causing chemicals. They are carcinogenic. Also, propylene glycol, petroleum like Vaseline, baby oil. That's literally what they use in jet fuel. And we're putting it on our babies and we're putting it on our
Really?
body. Yeah, it's really bad.
Oh my
So you
goodness.
want to avoid all of that.
Okay.
Um, Aluminum in the deodorant. I mean, we put our deodorant on, goes right into the lymph nodes.
Yes.
So really using natural products is key. And
Mm.
another thing is fragrance. I don't know about you, when I go through a department store and I walk through the fragrance department, I literally get a headache.
Yes. Every time.
Fra- yep. Fragrance is very toxic because they don't have to list all the chemicals that are involved in fragrances. So, a lot of products have fragrance, like your face lotion might have a fragrance or it smells pretty, but it's really not good. It's really not good.
That's incredible. And
Yeah.
sometimes we just don't think about that. It's
No,
just
we
a
don't.
fragrance. So,
Yeah.
Kelly, why is the beauty industry like saturated with all these products that can harm us instead of clean products?
Okay. Well, the European Union, they forbid a lot of the chemicals that we freely allow in the FDA. The only thing the FDA controls are what the claims that the product has. That's all. They don't really care what, or the dye coloring, but they really don't care. Everything is free game. And the reason they do that is because one, shelf life. They want to have a product on at the shelf for 3, 5, 10 years. Obviously, if it's that long on the shelf, you don't want to use it on your body. Okay,
No.
period. And it's all about money. Unfortunately, it's all about money.
Do you think
You know.
that's why there's a lack of regulation?
Um, well, back then, yeah, but now, many years later, I believe that there's a darker agenda.
Mm.
And I I'm so happy that Robert Kennedy is on board to clean up our water and get
Me
rid
too.
of the fluoride and the chemicals in our food.
Hmm.
So I don't know why. I don't want to blame anybody, but I really believe it's a darker agenda why we are being poisoned. Really are. We are
Yeah.
being poisoned.
I believe that, when we celebrated, didn't celebrate, we visited my daughter in Belgium. They lived
Yeah.
over there for a short period of time, and we were only there 2 weeks. Um, we ate all the food, probably too much food. And my daughter said, Mom, I want to take you to McDonald's. Of course, she had two little ones at the time. And I'm like, Christine, I really don't want to go to McDonald's. She's like, Mom, no, you need to experience it because it's different over here compared to where we live, in the US. And I didn't believe her. So we went. I was amazed. I mean, even the kids ordered chicken McNuggets, and
Yeah.
they're nothing like our chicken here. And the fries, you know, they weren't greasy. They didn't make
Yeah.
me feel icky afterwards. And I'm like, what is going on? She's like, because those are real potatoes, Mom. They're not using
Real.
any other ingredients in those fries. And I didn't gain weight, Kelly, and
Yeah.
we ate chocolate.
And the best chocolate too, isn't it?
Oh my goodness. And so I got
Yeah.
back to the US and I'm like, I didn't feel sick over there, didn't feel bad when I ate things. Like if I eat French fries or something like that now, oh, I would be sick
I know.
feeling for a day,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? So I don't understand. But like you said, I believe there is an agenda out there to,
Mm-hmm.
maybe they don't want us to live very long. Maybe that's it.
Exactly.
Or maybe they want the healthcare system to, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I know. I'm on the same page with you. I believe that. Yeah.
So
Because it's
toxic ingredients, like for example, can cause all sorts of disease in the body. So
mm-hmm.
is there like a top list of, okay, so you should totally avoid this one ingredient because this ingredient has been known to cause cancer? Is there anything, or did you already mention those before?
Well, parabens and propylene glycol.
And what is
Parabens,
parabens?
parabens are it's a preservative, and they
Okay.
use it a lot in products. So parabens are always in your body lotion. Like if you look at a back of a body lotion or a face cream or what have you, you will see parabens. And parabens are their preservative, but they are carcinogenic to the body,
Oh,
very carcinogenic. And what happens is when we put these products on our body, our skin is the largest organ.
mhm.
So whatever we put on transdermal goes right in. And when we eat something, it's filtered by our liver. But when you put it on your body, it is stored in your fat cells. And what
Oh,
happens is we all have estrogen in our body.
mhm.
But when these chemicals come in, they're like little Trojan horse. They come in and they invade your body. And your body doesn't know what it is. So it recognizes it as estrogen, so it latches onto it. It is called
Oh.
xenoestrogens. They're foreign estrogens. So very bad,
So they
very
can
bad.
really mess with our hormones.
Very much so, yes. And
Gosh.
the endocrine system. I
Mhm.
mean, young girls are getting their period 7, 8, 9 years old. That's not normal.
No,
Not
no.
normal.
So it's being caused by these products because I'm trying to think when we were younger growing up, of course we didn't use a lot of products. I didn't
No,
have a lot of products
no,
at
no.
home to use.
Yeah.
So it does make sense. What are some of the differences you noticed? So obviously you had to start using clean products. You said you were starting to develop these for your mother and for
Yeah.
yourself. What did you notice?
Well, I didn't notice anything right away because it's not just the products,
Mm-hmm.
it's everything in your life. You know, what you eat,
True.
cleaning your water.
Mhm.
Um, Unfortunately, a lot of our water has fluoride and
Yes,
chlorine, and we don't realize it. We drink the water, but I have a Berkey water filter,
I do too.
and I filter my water. It's great. And when
Mm-hmm.
I tell my husband, I don't want anything for Christmas. I just want a water filter that comes in from the road. That's all I want. Because now we're showering in it, bathing in it. But when I turn the water on to brush my teeth in the morning, I can actually smell the chlorine. That's how sensitive I am to it. But that's what happens is when you start cleaning up your life, you start noticing the chemicals, you start smelling it. Like
Yeah.
I can open a jar of, some fancy, smancy little lotion, and I'm like, I smell all the chemicals.
Oh,
You just
wow.
become more sensitive to it. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm 59. And I started on this journey when my mom was diagnosed. I was like in my late 30s, and I just started cleaning up my life. And it's been a slow process because it was one thing at a time, cleaning up my house, getting rid of chemicals, for laundry detergent, in house cleaning products, everything. So it was a journey, so I didn't feel good right away. It took
Right.
time.
That makes sense. It
It
does.
took time.
How did you go in that direction? Like, I know you were developing products for your mother and yourself, but that's
Mhm.
like a big leap to go into a skincare line.
Right. Yeah, it was actually my husband was watching me make products for my mother and
Mhm.
myself, and he knew my trial, what I was dealing with. And he said, "You really need to do this. You need to inform people about harmful chemicals, and we should write a book about it. And then we need to find a chemist that will work with you to help make these products." So we did. I found an organic chemist out of Oregon, and she's been so instrumental in educating us about, products for the face and, skin, because that's what she does. She does mostly the facial products.
That's wonderful. Okay, so Profit Skincare, where did that name and why the name Profit Skincare?
Okay. Well, years ago, he was a medical intuitive, I guess you would call him,
Mhm.
Edgar Casey. He was a very devout Christian, but he would literally go into a sleep trance and he could tell people what was wrong with them medically. And he
Wow.
would give them Bible verses to read. This was
Mhm.
like back in the 1930s. They called him the sleeping prophet. So
Oh,
many years ago, I read a lot of literature about him, and I was always taken with that. So when I was thinking of a name for the skincare, I thought of him, the sleeping prophet. And I said, prophet skincare, that would be good because it's not only foreseeing your future, your
mhm,
life, protecting
mhm.
yourself, but for foreseeing your beauty
Oh,
in
that's
your
so
skin.
good.
So that's where that came from. It was a spiritual connection for me.
I love that. How has your faith developed as you have developed the skincare line?
Well, I would say since the pandemic, it's
Mhm.
gotten even stronger. Um, I've always, like I said, I've always had faith, but now I'm very like every morning I get up and I read because I think I talked to you about this before. Our body is the temple
Mhm.
and God lives here.
That's right.
And we need to connect all the time. Like the first thing in the morning, I want to go down and make my coffee and I want to check my phone and I want to do this and do that. But I always hear this little voice saying, sit with me
Mhm.
and read and connect. And that is the first thing I have to do every morning. So it the skincare was something that brought me down this road and made
Mhm.
me the person that I am today. But God has always been paramount in my life, but even more so now,
That
even
is so
more so.
good. Let's talk about your skincare products. So let's say someone like me, I'm listening to this program. Um,
Yeah,
I'm very interested in finding out more information about your products, but where do I start? Like I'm using probably skincare products that have those chemicals in it.
yeah.
Where do I start?
hmm Well, it can be overwhelming to think about where do I begin. You can maybe start cleaning up your cleanser, using a different cleanser. My products are very simple. I have one cleanser. It's a jojoba oil,
Mhm.
and it takes off your makeup and it cleanses your skin. A lot of people think, oh my God, jojoba oil, that's oil, it's going to clog my. It's not clogging to your skin at all. It's non-comedogenic. And I've been using it for years and I swear by it. So, start with a cleanser, maybe a shea butter. Like here's a shea butter. It's a body butter.
Okay.
And when I was talking to you earlier, you were saying you felt like you were suffocating your skin by putting moisturizer on. You are in a sense because a lot of that is petroleum and your skin can't breathe with
Mhm.
petroleum on it. So
Mhm.
I like using shea butter because it's natural and it actually has an earthy scent
Mhm.
and it's literally like a butter. If I can show you here, it's like a butter.
Oh yeah.
And when I use it, I just blend it down till it melts and
Okay.
I put it all over my body and
Okay.
it goes right into your skin. So your skin's not going to feel greasy or oily. It's just wonderful.
All
So,
right.
but then I have serums and facial creams, and I also have an exfoliator too.
Well, I'm interested in your anti-aging. Is that a moisturizer or what is that?
Well, I have a La Creme moisturizer, which is a much richer moisturizer for people that have very dry skin.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it's aloe vera based, jojoba, sunflower oil, really good ingredients. And then I also have an arginine peptide moisturizer,
Uh-huh.
which is really good for anti-aging.
Okay.
They always say that arginine is like Botox in a bottle, and it's
Wow.
a
Okay.
natural peptide. So I've been using that for a long time too. So depending on what you need, if you need a lighter moisturizer, the
Mm-hmm.
arginine would be best for you. If you need a heavier moisturizer, if you're more dehydrated, then the La Creme would be a better moisturizer for you.
Okay. So if people had questions, Kelly, and they weren't real certain when they're going to your website, and by the way,
Hmm.
listeners, Kelly is generously offering a discount, 20% off all of her products if you
Yeah.
put in Shaped by Faith. Thank you, Kelly, so much. So if someone has questions for you, is there some place on your website where they can reach out to you if they've
Yeah,
got?
they can email me right through the website.
Okay.
And then also I have beauty tips. If you go to my website and you
Mhm.
click on the little YouTube videos, I have a lot of like beauty tips and whatnot.
I know,
So
I saw that too. You've
yeah,
got a lot on your website that is so beneficial and helpful. Kelly, I want to thank you so much. I'd love to have you come on again as a guest. You're so informative and you're beautiful and you're living proof that these natural skincare products work. Uh,
thank you.
but I love your heart for Jesus,
Yeah.
most of all. But thank you for doing what you do and informing people and helping people out.
And thank you, Teresa, for doing what you do.
Absolutely.
And
It's
I feel
a
blessed to
pleasure.
have met you.
Oh, I feel the same way. Well, thank you everyone for listening. I'm Theresa Rowe. Have a blessed day. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Shaped by Faith with Theresa Rowe. Remember to visit shapedbyfaith.com to find out more about workouts, the TV show, podcasts, blogs, Shaped by Faith products, and much more.